What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chatting with Chapman. I am your host, Andre Chapman Jr., and I have the pleasure of talking with the 2017 USA Track and Field Championship qualifier as a sophomore in college, the four-time Big West Men's Track and Field Athlete of the Week while at UC Irvine. He was unbeaten in 2017 in the 400 and the 800 during the regular season. He's a 2017 Big West champion in the 800 and the 4x4. 2017 NCAA Championship qualifier. He decided to transfer after his sophomore year to that other school in UCLA, USC, or that other school in LA, USC, but had to sit out for a whole year. And it was during that year that I really met this man, and we got to form a real friendship and a bond. While at USC in 2019, he won the MPSF Indoor 800-meter gold. He also won an indoor 800-meter. He also was an indoor 800-meter All-American, placing 7th at the NCAA Indoor Championship. He broke the USC indoor 800-meter record, which was held by two other Olympians. He's the 2019 Pac-12 800-meter champion and anchored the 4x4, which also won the Pac-12 title. In 2019, he won a silver medal in the 800 at the NACAC U23 Championships in Mexico. In 2021, he took gold at the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championship and broke the USC outdoor record, which was no easy feat. And in 2021, he was a silver medalist at the 2020 U.S. Olympic Trials in Eugene, becoming a 2020 Tokyo Olympic qualifier. Give it up for my man, Isaiah Jewett. How you doing, man?
What's up, man? You had all the details. I love that. Thank you. I'm doing good.
Yeah, man. Of course, of course. I have to give you your flowers. I like to give my guests their flowers while they're still here. So I appreciate you
That's
being
good.
here. Just a little background. I started this podcast because I want athletes, coaches, and parents to be able to watch our episodes, watch these great athletes and coaches speak and hear them speak and be able to learn tidbits from their journey, from their experience, and understand that the mental is something you have to continuously work at. It's not something that, you pick up every once in a while. No, it's something that you absolutely have to continuously work at. And so I'm excited because your journey has been epic and not linear. And it's always in those non-linear journeys that you learn a lot about yourself, about your mind. And so I think we're going to have a great conversation today. I know we will.
Yeah, I know we will too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And for those that can't see, I'm going to show you too, Isaiah. For those that can't see, I had to represent. I got my
Oh God,
UCLA, my
God,
UCLA shirt on.
I'm lacking. I don't have anything USC around me.
Hey,
Damn.
keep it that way, man. Keep it that way. Always promoting the brand.
Hey, I will be cordial with UCLA people. One, because we're friends, and then two, my wife went to UCLA.
Okay,
So
that's what I thought, man. I was like looking at your wedding pictures and I was like, I swear, I don't know if we went to school during the same time, but
Mhm.
if friends of friends, like we all know each other.
Yeah,
Okay, cool, cool, cool,
yeah.
cool.
No, she went same years as me. She actually had the same type of transfer as me as a whole. Like she was at UC Santa Barbara, so we
Okay.
were both in the Big West together. We just never met. And then
Wow.
she went to UCLA, and she transferred the year that I had the year off. And she was actually, it's funny because we met, well, we didn't meet, we met before, but we started talking more when I had that year off in the mornings when I was training.
Mhm.
And she was actually out there as well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Still didn't meet her then, but she was out there too.
Yeah. And then how'd you guys officially meet?
I if I'm being honest, I followed her on Instagram.
There it
It's
is.
gonna look real bad. It's gonna look real bad. I'm not even
There it
lying.
is. No,
I
that
followed her
hey,
on
that's
Instagram.
it's
I saw
2024.
she was going to a party, and I went to that party to get her number.
You have always been a determined man. You know what you want and you go after it,
No,
man.
exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
exactly how I've lived my life. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So to jump in here, my first question, and I want to give the listeners a preface. I met Isaiah during that same time in 2018. I was out there training with Coach Hayes and Sydney McLaughlin, and you know, um, Isaiah was training. That's when he had that transfer year, and so he had to take a gap year, and he was out there training with Blake and some other amazing athletes, Blake Leaper, and so we really got to know each other, and have great conversations. I'm not going to tell you what I told you on the podcast because I'm always representing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
glad that he was able to go to USC and just, take it to the next level. And so thinking about your journey from high school to college, the transitions in college and even in the Olympics, what mental skills have been the most important for you through all of that progression? Like what's the important?
Ooh, that's a good question. Like most important or just a couple?
Just
Like
a
one on
couple. I
one?
would say a couple. Yeah, I would say a couple.
Okay. That makes it easier. I think one of the most important, especially with my journey from high school to college to professional, is really the determination. Like I think what I know everybody says, oh, you got to be determined. You got to be determined. It's not like the determined factor of doing things on your day off or certain things like that. It's about being determined when you fail. Because honestly, I failed so many times. I don't even call them fails anymore. But during the time, this is just how I thought. I'm just going through the process. I saw them
Absolutely.
as failures because I had visions of doing certain things. I did all the extra stuff I was supposed to throughout high school, throughout college, and it still wasn't mounting up to everything that I saw. However, the determination whenever I got knocked down was so buoyant, if that's the proper word, of like bouncing back. Like the mindset that you have, you almost have to either wipe it or use it as fuel. And I used all those moments as fuel. Like in high school, I wasn't. I ran the 400 primarily. I ran the 8 a little bit, but I ran the 4 mostly. And I thought I was going to be the best in the state. Um, my times were nowhere near best in the state. Like I started off my high school career probably with like a 208 and then a 57. And then as I got to my junior/senior year, I moved down to 49, 154, and then went down to senior year going to 47. And even though I had Michael Norman in my race most of the division because we were in the same division, or might have been same finals or master finals, whatever. I still believed that I was going to be the best. Every time I got crushed, every last race we ran, every last one, 4x4, 400, you name it, I was losing. I made it to state. However, I was still on the line saying I'm going to win. And I think that's what it's all about. Like being able to get back up is so powerful. Like I don't think people will see that strength because like there's times that I don't know, it's tough because you set this expectation for yourself and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do everything I can, I'll do the extra stuff, I'll talk to who I need to do and everything like that. They'll give you advice and you think, okay, this is the blueprint to be successful. No, that's not how it works. Honestly, we all have our own story, our own journey, and our process looks different than someone else's process. Yeah, their process might be more linear, but your process could be low and then bounce up super high. And I think that's what was the case with me. Like my freshman year of college, like nothing really crazy happened. I didn't PR in the 8, I didn't PR in the 4, nothing was happening. And I worked super hard. I still to this day think like I did not work harder than that year. And nothing happened. But the thing is, like, I was like, no, I know who I am. I know who I want to be. So I have to get back up and push. And that's when the next year I had a stellar year where I went from 154 all the way down to 147. I don't know how it happens,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
it's just stuff like that. Just choosing to get up sometimes is the answer. It's not even like you have to change anything crazy. It's just choosing to get up and choosing to fight time after time. And if you're able to choose to get up after failure after failure after failure, you're going to be successful. Whether you like, it's just like it's tough to say. It's like whether whatever happens, you're gonna learn something one,
Mhm.
and then you're going to be better. I don't mean to go like off on a tangent,
No,
but
please. I love the tangents. Please go off on the tangents.
like no, it's just like like everybody wants to be. I'm trying to think of it better. I like to think of things in like superheroes and everything
I'm
like
a,
that.
I'm a
But everybody
superhero
wants to
person
be,
too. I'm a
yeah,
superhero. So go
everybody wants to
ahead.
be the Flash. Everybody
Yep.
wants to be Spider-Man. Everybody wants to be these different types of heroes. But I don't think everybody has really read the comics like I have. Like Spider-Man, that dude has been through it so many times. He's lost so many times, but we don't see that. We just see him getting back up. And that's why everybody wants to be Spider-Man, because he has this strength to get back up. He's not any stronger than he was when he got knocked down on the floor. He's just choosing to get back up, and that scares a lot of people. Like, I think one story that my favorite, I have it in the other room, but it's my favorite comic from Spider-Man, which is he goes to see Uncle Ben after Gwen has died. He couldn't save a couple of other people as well, and he was just feeling super depressed. And he was like, I don't know if I should be Spider-Man anymore. Like, I've had a lot of wins, but I've had a lot of losses as well. And he was like, there was one time that I was in a robbery. There was a robbery, and I stopped all the men, and there was one more man in front of me saying freeze. And I just looked him in the face, walked towards him, and he was like, step closer and I'll shoot. And as I walked closer to him, he just dropped the gun because he was scared. And he was like, in reality, he saw me as like, oh, this scary person that, is going to do something. And this is not what, like, I'm not that type of person. And I don't want to mess with him. However, in reality, he had enough. He was just tired from life, and he was wondering if he can just, end his life right there. Like, so it could just end like that. But in reality, what he learned from that experience when he was talking to Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben's great, I should say.
Yeah.
When he learned from that experience, he was like, at the end of the day, people, my enemies, and all the other people respect me, not just for being Spider-Man, but just to be able to stand up when times are difficult. And I believe that he saw in my eyes that I was going through a rough time. And the fact that I stood up in front of him through that rough time made him say he's a dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was so powerful. I was like, whoa, hold on. But like, honestly, I kind of, that's kind of premise of my story. I stand up regardless of whatever happens. I stand up time and time again until I get what I either really want or either I'm successful. I mean, there's only two options. Like, I don't want to stop going after my dream. I don't want a loss to stop me from going after what I want, going after what I want. Sorry, bad English. And I will continue no matter how many losses it looks like, no matter how it looks, I'm going to get it some way, somehow.
That is beautiful. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. And I was thinking of a quote. A quote popped in my head while you were saying all of this is success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And I mean, from the story that you said, from like you getting into the race with Michael Norman each time, and like choosing to stand up, stand tall, and have this like determined belief and faith that I am going to win. And regardless of the outcome, I know that I am going to be okay, and I'm going to stand right back up, and I'm capable of whatever comes my way. And there's nothing that's going to come my like that type of belief and faith. Where did that come from? Because I have like that's something that with the athletes that I work on with in one-on-one mental performance is like having that understanding and having that belief that whatever happens to you, you are capable of surviving, and not just surviving, but standing back up again and still continue to get to push forward. But where did that come from for you?
For me, honestly, I mean, I think there's a lot of things I want to say it's from. Like, I know where it's at now. However, where it started from to where the groundwork and fundamentals were essentially growing up with older siblings.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's so many times I wanted to be able to do things with them. And they did not take it easy on me when it came to sports or anything like that, because I'm not gonna lie, I told on them all the time. So they were like,
I
oh, yeah,
know.
anything we, you know I told all the time, I don't care. Um, but when it came to like sports and anything, I can't tell on them in sports. I can't tell on them in stuff that like I want, like in terms of hanging out with them. I can't tell on them during that time because it's like at the end of the day, it's a sport. It's something that requires a little bit of rivalry and competition, you know. And honestly, I just wanted to be a part and feel like I'm a part with them and show them that I am an equal and not just a little brother at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was one aspect of the fundamentals of like every time we played, they wouldn't take it easy on me and show how much better they actually are than me and be so mean about it, you know? But the thing is, like, I would be in the backyard training, shooting, practicing catching a ball and different types of stuff because they play like football and basketball. So I was practicing everything I could on my own, even though it did not do any, like I didn't do any better. Like, if it's a 7-year gap difference. So
Ah.
making that up when you're 8 is not great, let me tell you. But the other aspect is honestly the anime I've watched. I think that I've started watching anime. Actually, I read manga before I started watching anime because I I've been set back from a lot of things because I was a preemie and I was born really, really early. I was already like on the cusp of like not living and everything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
coming out and being behind literally everything was so frustrating and so difficult, not only for me, but for my mom, because they were trying to hold me back and everything like that because wasn't at a certain reading level. And it wasn't that I couldn't read, I just couldn't read well. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like to read.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom tried comic books, didn't work, tried storybooks, didn't work. But then she tried one thing, which was manga. And for some reason, I was captivated with
Wow.
reading all the manga. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't know what made it different than comic books, but the storytelling had such an aspect of relatability
Mm-hmm.
that I could connect with. And that connection, I feel like was a heavy motivator for my success through the past, like for my entire life. It's the fact on why I was able to get up so many times, how cool it was, how cool it looked when you saw somebody get up like another time, like seeing Naruto lose so many times and be like, you know what, I still believe that I'm still gonna be Okage. It doesn't matter what you say to me. Like people are in his face telling him, like, you're not gonna do it. Like you've been a slacker your entire life. You grew up this way. So there's no possible way you could be Hokage. And it was just like the fact that he kept wiping his memory
Mm-hmm.
and saying, no, I can do it, in the face of adversity. That's what helped me get up every single time. And I think once I started to eliminate, I think the premise of my success was once I started to eliminate the fear, because it comes every now and then. But when I started to eliminate the certain fear of, okay, it's the end of the world if I fail,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to just let my body, let my mind do. And when you take away repercussion
Mm-hmm.
for actions, you start to do things in
Free.
more of a, yeah, you do it free in a productive way. You do it in your best ability. Now, your best ability might not be a win, but at the end of the day, it's the best of your ability and you're improving because now you're creating a pattern that makes you better.
Wow. Wow. How did that mentality of eliminating the fear of whatever happened, like how did that develop? Because that's
Uh,
hard. Because that like
yeah,
because that means you're essentially detaching from the outcome and saying whatever happens, happens. And
yeah,
I think in a sense it's a little different than I think they're tied together ultimately of like whatever happens, I can stand back up, right? But there's
yeah,
this knowing of like I can stand back up, but then there's also this like whatever happens, happens. And so I see, like from the brothers and sisters and or from your sisters and like your family and being the youngest and like you being able to say, I can stand back up. But how did you get that like whatever happens, happens? I'm letting it go of the
yeah.
outcome.
So that I feel like that mindset in terms of whatever happens is something that was developed over time. Like it wasn't like an overnight type of thing. Like I think one thing when I was young, I'll try and do it in like chronological order.
Yeah,
Sorry if I'm
yeah.
talking.
No, don't apologize,
I
man. This
get
is great.
okay. So like one thing, the premise of what I grew up on with my mom was having fun. I think she was so hard on my siblings on school and sports that she realized, okay, you just have fun. Like
Mhm.
you're my fourth kid. You just have a good time. I don't care what you do. Like they were about to hold you back. I'm just glad you're in the regular grade. By the way,
Yeah.
I did end up reading on a higher level after I read like a ton of manga at that point.
There we go.
Improved.
There we go.
You know,
Shout out to
you
manga.
know, you
Yeah.
already know. But the premise of having fun was one thing I think that laid the fundamentals of not worrying too much. And I think that any level that you go to, um, and this is more where I'm at now, any level that you go to, you're reaching a new environment, you're reaching the unknown. So, of course, there's going to be a level of fear and scare. Like, you're going to be scared at a certain level. And if you realize that, like, the only thing that is like adding so much fear is because you don't know, you start to realize, like, you know, okay, that's a real thing. However, that's not everything. You know one thing, you'll survive it. And I think that
Mm.
just honestly running into certain people and failing so many times and getting back up and looking back at how many times I failed and then still got to where I'm at right now. Like there's I'm trying to make it make sense. It's
No, it
just
makes
it's
sense.
so because what's crazy about it is like the best example I can give. The best example I can give was 2021 when I didn't make it to the finals because I got tripped up, helped the other guy up just because,
Hmm.
and we had all this like amazing momentum with it being like a great sportsmanship moment. Like at the end of the day, that's how it was raced. However, I don't think that moment really hit me until this previous Olympics that I was not in at all. And I didn't like I was mostly hurt because, I didn't make the team this year. So I was,
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
defeated. However, like the amount of people that stopped me at the street saying like how much this meant to them, you
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
how much this moment meant to them and everything like that.
Real quick,
And
can you describe that moment for people who, I mean, I'm very
oh,
familiar.
oh
They
yeah, yeah,
play
yeah.
it on
So
all the
sorry, I'm just
commercials.
going on.
Yeah, no, but can
Yeah.
you just describe that moment for people who may not know what happened?
Yeah, so in 2021, I was projected to make the final, and also I was
Metal.
feeling good to medal. I was
I
like,
thought
"Oh
so
yeah, I'm gonna."
too.
I called my coach after that prelim. I didn't do well in the prelim, but I was so confident. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna medal. I just got to make it to the final. I just got to get to the final. I'm gonna medal. I know for a fact." Like
Hmm.
it was the weirdest confidence I had.
I
So I
felt
was
very
going,
confident for you as well too. For some reason, like I just felt
yeah,
it.
yeah. That was weird. I don't even know what was going on, but um, semifinal, I'm running, and we're getting to like the last 150. I'm working on my kick, so I'm like, oh, I feel a kick. Here it comes. I'm feeling good. And then as I go into the last turn, I feel somebody's foot clip me, which is Nigel Amos. He clipped me, and then that made my foot hit the other one, and I fell. And when I fell, I was like, this isn't me. This is somebody else. I'm still running. But then, like after a couple seconds passed, I was like, oh crap, this is me. Like I'm on the ground right now. Like this is over. And I almost started to slip until I saw like Nigel like breathing hard and he was on the ground as well. And I was like, this is where I went up to him and I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter what happened. Let's just finish the race. And I said, you good? Let's finish the race. And he was like, okay. And then we helped each other up and we both finished the race. And that was kind of the Olympic moment of 2021 with our 800-meter in the semis. Unfortunately, he got through and I didn't get through, but we won't get too
Yeah, I was very upset. I was very upset. I'm not gonna
uh,
lie.
yeah. But it caused so much momentum because I think that I don't know. I think at the time it was just like a thing that I was raised to do. Like, we're bigger than this race, so let's just finish this race, you know? I wasn't thinking of myself as anything like more than that, just the regular human being who would help somebody up. But because of that moment, it seemed like a really great act of sportsmanship. And I think that's the entire moment in terms of
Yeah, that
explaining
is
it. But
that is.
yeah, yeah. But I think what it meant to me now, like going to where I'm at now, is not even the fact that people came up to me during that time, like after this is 20 now this is now
Hmm, hmm.
2024, people coming up to me still talking about this. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'm feeling down, but it feels good to hear that people are like still like talking to me about it, because I guess it was coming up as a commercial and they're like, what you did was amazing, and like this is going to be going on for years and like and stuff like that. But what when it really clicked was hearing all that and then going back to my journal, because I journal and make vision boards. And my vision board for 2021, and I can't make this up, like in my head during this time of the vision board, I was like, yeah, I want to win. But I was trying to get more to the raw emotion, because I like attaching emotions because it becomes more real. We get
Hmm.
more into that later,
Oh,
but
you know we are.
I already know you're going. I already know. Get to that one later. But the biggest thing I wanted out of 2021 in terms of time and making the gold was to show the world who I am. That's what I literally wrote down. And I thought that meant, winning a gold medal. That's what I thought it meant. But when I looked back and saw that, I was like, wait a second. So I did get what I wanted. I got what I wanted all along. Yeah, it wasn't exactly how I pictured it, but it was exactly what I wanted. And I think that was just, I don't know. That's where I like, it's just weird because I've made vision boards for so long and I've been seeing all of them come true. And I've been making vision boards since I'm young. This is answering the question, I promise.
No,
And
keep
I
going,
think
keep going.
the aspect of making those vision boards and like describing exactly what I want, how I want to feel, those are the moments where I realized, okay, you know, at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to get it. There's time and time again proven through failure and success, both of them, where I've gotten what I wanted in some shape or form. So why should I worry about the unknown
Mm,
when this has been the pattern for the whole
mm,
time? I have a whole bunch. It would almost be a disservice to me, which I have
mm.
been doing, a disservice to myself for not seeing the progress that I've made and using that not for me to be successful, using it to have comfort in not knowing.
Jeez. Absolutely.
That's when it started to click a little bit more for me, and that's where I got to. I was like, yeah, that's exactly it, and that's where I started. Like, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, things happen, yeah, but ultimately, if you continue down the journey, if you believe in yourself, and you get up after every single time, and you've proven that during the past times, who's to say you won't get up if anything bad happens? Who's to say you won't be successful if anything good happens? Like, it's just two possibilities where at the end of the day, you're still going to be you. And not the you that you think like, okay, you're going to be a boring you or whatever. No, you're going to still be the person that set that dream. Because that person that set that dream is who you really want to be at the end of the day. It's not anybody different of when you accomplish the dream. It's that person that you become when you set that dream. And if you can maintain being that person that you were when you set that dream through failure and success, that's what makes it answers your question. I don't remember the question exactly, but it does answer the it does answer the question. I promise. I promise.
No, man, Isaiah, I'm getting goosebumps listening to you, man, because I've just had a loss of words. Your mindset and your perspective is so admirable and beautiful, and just that was extremely
Oh,
thought
thank you.
provoking, extremely
Thank
thought
you.
provoking, right? Like, yeah, wow, man.
No, because I think the biggest thing, especially with me and people who overthink, people who stress, people who it takes a little bit more time to get going in terms of like getting what you want. I think not the most important thing, one of the most important things though is being clear on everything. Clarity helps
Mm,
so much when it comes
mm.
to anything you do, regardless of anything you do. Passion is important, but clarity is important because you can have passion and be clear on that passion. I feel like, what I was just talking to you about this before we started about like your whole podcast,
Yep.
even TikTok, all the stuff that you do, it's an art, man. And like I see now, I've never seen you before, but I've seen you in this action in terms of what you're doing. I see the passion that comes with it. I see how clear you are with what you want to do, regardless of you telling me what you really want to do or not. It's the fact that you're clear on the vision that you want to do. And that clarity lets you be free and be able to do what you want
Yo,
in
I
an easier
appreciate
way
that.
than you fighting like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out, I don't know if this. There's no point of worrying about that because you're clear. Hey, this is what I want to do and I'm going to do everything I can to do. This is how I want to feel during this time. Okay, how can I do to feel that way?
Yeah, yeah. You got my mind I'm just in full listen mode. Thank you for that, the accolades and the affirmations, man. I appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. Having clarity is the most important thing. And that's whenever I get a client, the number one thing that we do is go over their values so they have a better understanding of who they are, who they want to stand for, what they want to stand for, what they want to represent, and then creating their goals and seeing if there's alignment. Because if your goals don't match who you say you want to be and who you are, there's no clarity there. There's a lot of confusion going on between what you want and who you say you are. And so you have to have that clarity in who you are and what you want. So I think that is just absolutely spot on. And I'm still just processing the whole vision board
Yeah.
conversation that we had because I think it's incredible that, I mean, that's just how life works, right? You say you want something, and let me back up a little bit to something that you said earlier too. It's like there is this perception, and I am guilty of it too, that A plus B equals C. If I put in all the work that I'm supposed to put in, if I do all of the things that I'm supposed to do, I will achieve said outcome. And I don't know why I still think that. I don't know why
Hey,
that's,
no, I do it too. Yeah.
and it's just like, I will work hard. I will go to the proper school. I will win the NCAA. I will go to the Olympics. Like it's just like, this thought that you have. And that's just never how it happens. You get it. You get the outcome in it's either in another capacity, it's either in another timeline. It's just, it always shows up just not in the way that you expect it. And here's a little tidbit. So when I was in, it's not a vision board, but when I was in seventh grade, it was seventh grade, it was eighth grade. I think it was seventh grade. My teacher asked me she was like, hey, I want everybody to write a story about where they're going to be in the following like 2 years, where they're going to be in like 5 years, and then where they're going to be in like 10 years.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so I
yeah.
wrote down, I was in middle school. I wrote down the high school that I was going to go to. In that story, I wrote down after high school, I was going to run track at UCLA. And
Oh
then
wow.
after UCLA, I said that I was going to go to the Olympics. Now, let me tell you why this is so crazy. It's so crazy because I went to a public middle school and elementary school. And then my dad was like, you're going to a private high school. Like, you're going to this private high school. And I hated it. So for the first 2 years, I fought tooth and nail to transfer. And so then I ended up going to that private high school. So I think it's ironic that in seventh grade, I'm writing, I'm going to this high school, and then I'm fighting it, yada, 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 whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it's my senior year of high school, and I am trying to figure out where I'm going to go to college. And so I got accepted, took an official visit, did everything. I was full set to go to Georgetown. And then some things happened. I ended up not going to Georgetown. Now, I told my parents the only school I'm staying in California for is USC. I'm not going to any school other than USC. I applied to USC, didn't get accepted. So I'm like, I'm going elsewhere. My dad is like, no, I'm going to start reaching out to some coaches for you. So he started reaching out to some coaches. I end up at UCLA. So it's just like it's never in the timeline. It's never the way it happens, right? Like, and for the Olympics, I said I wanted to run in the Olympics. Now, I never made it to the Olympics, but for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, I was able to be the poster of, that like NBC Tokyo Olympics promotion poster. So like in some capacity, I still went, right? Like, but I to turn this back, I just had to share that story, but to turn this back to what you were saying, I've never heard of having the vision board where it's feelings that you're wanting to evoke.
Yeah. So essentially me and my mom is took complete credit for this. Sorry. I had my computer going so you can see me clear.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. Hey, whatever you got to do. Okay. You are good. You're good. If you need to get
I was making sure you can see me.
I can still see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had my mom like from, let's see, I think 16. Since I was 16, I've been making vision boards. Me and my mom have. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And I started off with just following her ideal of like what the theme is for this year and what do I want out of this year. But as I started developing my own style, I started getting more artistic with it because I'm an artist a little bit as well in terms of like drawing, and I make music now, so that's something.
Okay.
But anyway, I started looking back on my vision boards and starting to like just make my own things or create it in a certain way. And I realized that while your emotions aren't always you, your emotions that you feel are real. And I know that during these moments that we feel, like we feel moments, like in the moments that we're successful, we feel certain things sometimes we feel a different way. Sometimes we feel a different way, like depending on what your headspace is at the end of the day. However, I started realizing, okay, what if I tied my outcome to how I feel? Then I can just practice feeling like that every single day. And if I can practice feeling like it every single day, then my outcome becomes real. And if my outcome becomes real, then I got the outcome. So I was just like, in that aspect, I started making vision boards based off that. I started making, okay, my time goals. I want to run this. And I started visualizing before I put it down on my vision board, because we cut out everything with intention. And before I cut it down, I visualized exactly how I want to feel, how it related to my life. And then I was like, okay, I'll put it on the board, Okay, this is how I'll organize it. And honestly, I feel like that's when I started accomplishing a lot more, when I started understanding, and it goes back to the clarity thing we were talking about, and putting that level of, I understand how I want to feel during this. Now I'm going to try to feel this every time that I do something close. It doesn't matter if I feel it every time. It's the fact that I'm trying to achieve it every single time, or it's the fact that I am doing it most of the time. Because ultimately, if you know how you want to feel, like if you say, like, I'm trying to give an example. 2021, I'll give a realistic example. I was going to give a fake one. 2021, I didn't want to feel scared coming to the last 300. Now I was like, I just don't want to feel fear anymore. I'm tired of being scared the last 300. Like I want to feel confident. I didn't even say confident. I was like, I don't want, like, it has to resonate with you. That's the most important. But I was like, no, I don't even want to feel confident. I want to feel like I'm straight out of an anime. That's exactly how I want to feel. That's how that was just how I wanted to feel. And like, it didn't come until like the last 2 meets that I ran in terms of the trials. But when it happened, I was like, this is actually it right here. This is how I wanted to feel. Like I thought of that. I talk about it all the time. I know I sound like a broken record, but I wanted to feel like that Naruto moment when he was running away from a train. I was like, I want that, this isn't over. I'll be dead before I give up. And then start sprinting all out, And honestly, I feel like I did a great job at that because I was able to draw in that moment because I practiced it in practice and practiced it over and over and over again. And I think that that's when it just became natural at that point. And once that emotion becomes natural and the action becomes natural, then you're doing what you actually want to do at the end of the day. And it honestly, when I started putting more emotion into what I create, it started to mean more.
Mm-hmm.
Because you start thinking about, okay, why do I really want this time? Or why do I really want to be this fast? Like, because you want to feel a certain way. At the end of the day, you're still the same person when you cross that line. But if you want to feel a certain way, you start realizing, hey, I can feel this way just doing this. So that means I can just run this for free. And you realize to detach that emotion and fear from this time and adding that expectation and eliminating the level of expectation from that run, from anything that you create, to where now it's just fluid. You're walking with air now. So either way, you're gaining something from it. And that's what I really like and enjoy with me putting emotion into what I create.
There's science that says when you do visualizations or when you're thinking about what it is that you want to accomplish, tying emotion to it makes it more real, and the body doesn't know like whether something's an imagination or whether it's something that's real, right? Like if you're sitting there with your eyes closed and you're imagining something, the mind doesn't have any idea if it's real or fake. And when you tie emotion to that process, it makes it more real. And so essentially you're training the body to know and feel and understand that emotion. So then when you're going to these,
Yeah.
like, let's say you visualize a race, like when you're stepping into the race, the body is like, oh, we've been here before. I'm going to just fall into what I know, fall back to what we've been practicing, get a better understanding of, or not fall back to get a better understanding, but fall back to what is comfortable, what we've been doing. So there's like, it's what you're saying is absolutely spot on, man. It's absolutely spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we've gone a lot of different places, but one of the things that
Yeah,
I wanted to
sorry.
no, I love it. I love it. One of the things that I wanted to ask is how do you mentally prepare for high pressure competition?
Oh, I feel like it's been developed for a couple of years. It took me a while to find something that, and it's still developing to be better. I feel like I'm always trying to evolve it to be even better. But I'm trying to stay as much on topic as I can when you
No,
ask the question.
listen,
I got tangents of like left and
the
right.
tangents make the episodes that much more juicy and that much more exciting. So please stay you.
Yeah, no, I try to keep I try to keep everything as the same as possible for each meet that comes along. Um, I mostly just try to be present.
Hmm.
I feel like with me, being present is everything. And like sometimes I have to adjust the plan to be more present with myself because it's not a matter of like this is a high caliber race or this is the like end all be all or anything like that. It's just the fact of me going to those thoughts and me thinking about after, me thinking about before. I'm never really in the present when I do don't do well, or yeah, when I'm not doing well, I'm not in the present very much. And I think that my best races are when I'm in the present. Okay, like I'm here, I am super nervous. There's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of things going through my mind. However, this is where I'm at, and I know that these thoughts aren't going to go away. I'm just going to do this. Like being more present with myself, having more present thoughts, even if it is fear or even if it is confidence, because it swings like a pendulum. And that presence is what lets me just be and do exactly what I'm meant to do.
Mhm. How do
And
you
I
get
feel
to
like,
the present? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you get to the present moment?
Um, I mean, it's different things. I feel
Mhm.
like for me specifically, I think it's different for everybody, but for me specifically, taking time to like literally just close my eyes and think about everything I'm feeling at this current moment. No thoughts about the past or the future. like if I have thoughts about the past or the future, I'm saying I'm thinking about the present. I mean, I'm thinking about the future, or I'm thinking about the past right now, keeping that even more present as possible. And getting all those thoughts out within a couple of deep breaths usually help me realize, okay, this is where I'm at, and I know my thoughts are here. So now what do I want to do? And having that inner dialogue with myself, with where I'm at. Another thing I do is depends if I'm at the meet or not. Um, Ironically, anime helps me get real present, because when an anime resonates with me, I feel like it's actually I feel like it's hitting me at this like present moment. Try not to sound sus. That's what I was about to say. I was about to slip. I don't know if you heard it, but it was about to slip. I'm sorry.
I have no clue. I have no clue. Nah,
Okay,
you're
yeah,
good.
I was like, oh damn. Okay, but
He
no,
said, nah, I don't want to be a viral moment.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no, but they bring me into the present in terms of how I'm feeling and how like relatable it is. With the relatability, it helps me like, okay, this is where I'm at because I'm relating to it right now. And being able to watch these certain moments that help me get to that presence helps me get more present. Also, talking to people around me usually helps as well. Like being able to have a normal conversation about certain things or just in general, that helps me get present. But nothing really like in terms of that craziness. It's just about staying in that presence and not drifting. It's about knowing and acknowledging when you're drifting, and then slowly, steadily heading back to that presence. And I think that's what usually helps, because I know what side I'm drifting towards, and I like to essentially try to bring myself back to that present with those tips that I did.
Yeah. And so I know that that's not something that you can just turn on at the meet. So like, how do you practice that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, no. So I am like, I mean, as you see, I try to live my life like an animal as much as possible. And because that's what brings me joy, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, as long as I'm somewhat like an anime, or the journey is somewhat like an anime, then I'm cool,
Yeah.
And I know that doing what I'm passionate, like I said, I know that knowing that and all the stuff how I want to feel, practicing that in practice, or even before, like thinking about, okay, let's take this day like it's a meet, and making myself nervous, how I would feel nervous in a meet. I remember how that feels. So I can put myself into that state. When I put myself into that state, I get myself out of that state, or I don't and do a terrible job. And that's okay though, because if I do a terrible job, I'm like, dang, I did terrible. Let me recover and try again another day, Or this didn't work. I think it's practice. Practice is key with everything. And like people think like practice is like, oh yeah, doing push-ups, sit-ups, or stretching, do all this stuff. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. It's super important. However, so is training your mind. And so is training. Literally, you can train anything. And that's the beauty of this world, I think. Art, the way you pick up a pencil, the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you see. Honestly, it's all an art, because you can train it all. And I think that one of these quotes that I heard when I was trying to develop some different stuff for art was art, your art style, because I was trying to develop an art style. Your art style is basically how you see the world. And that stuck with me, because I'm like, whoa, it's just literally what I'm looking at, how I perceive it. And if that's the case, then I can practice that. I can practice what I see. And with practice, what do? We get what? Better. We get better. So if that's the case, just practice everything. I have fun practicing. I don't mind practicing, because I know, and this is a tangent as well, but I know that the outcome isn't the success. The outcome isn't the outcome, is what I want to say. The outcome is not the outcome. The process is. And it took me a minute to understand, literally to like probably a couple days ago. I'm telling you, a couple days ago. It took me a couple days ago to realize what's the process, like what's so enjoyable about the process? Because everybody says, oh, enjoy the process, enjoy the process, enjoy the process. Like, I was like, what? It's just training. That's stupid, you know? Like, I want the outcome. Like, but the thing is, you attempting and trying to get better and seeing that development in yourself is the outcome. The outcome, you getting that outcome, and I'm speaking from experience when I made the Olympic team, it does not feel as great as when you make progress within yourself. That progress within yourself is something that internally makes you feel good consciously, to make you feel like, dang, I'm one step closer. There's a reason why when you set the dream, you're feeling on an absolute high. Because it's your process of how you process things. You're being authentically you in those moments. In the moment of you being authentically you, you are living your dream, because you are doing you to accomplish a dream, which is literally you doing it in that action. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
The action of you doing it isn't the outcome. Because the outcome is something, it's just a moment. It's just a second. It's just like a thing that you get. It's this process that you do things. That's the enjoyable part, because you're going after something that you dreamed and you set, something that you have in your mind, something that you can talk about later. Like we don't talk about, okay, most of the stories you hear, I can hear from everybody. Most of the stories you hear, you see how much the medal meant to them, which is past tense in terms of like not in the actual moment, but you realize the stories that they tell is what led up to it. That story of what it led up to it, and while they might not see it, that's what they're most proud about. That's why it means so much. So like essentially the outcome is them, like the process of them not them getting it, it's the process of them attempting to get it, because they could have not got it and told this story, and still they're going to still tell the story the same way. This is still going to be the part that they are always going to talk about. Like, yes, I do believe that there's moments when you're on there and you get super emotional and you get the medal and everything like that. I do believe that there's moments like that. But they're just that. Moments. Everything else is a story, and I love stories. You know, I love making, it's an anime story. Like, come on, it's something that you could write about. It's something that you want to read about. Like, you don't want to read about I won a gold medal. You know, it's the story that is the process. Your process is the dream. You being able to live it, you being able to push past every single barrier is the dream that you're living. And you get to do that every day, no matter what you're doing. Whether you like, I give an example of my of whatchamacallit, of a lady that I met that she had 2 kids, you know, was broke, you know, going to nursing school and doing all these different things at the same time. But what's crazy about it is she turned her life around. Yes, that's not even the point. What is magical about that whole story of her turning her life around is the fact that she was just as happy when she was broke than when she was successful in the head of a company. She was just as happy. Why is that? Because she's enjoying the process. Her process, not anybody else's process, her process. So what I'm trying to say, the end all be all, is the fact on that process is you living the dream.
Yep.
And if you get to live the dream every day, as long as you decide to.
Yep. And it's because that process, it breaks you down and it really makes you confront aspects of yourself and test your fortitude and your resilience. And so I agree completely with what you're saying. The outcome, the outcome is the journey, and it's the person that you become along the way, the character that you develop, waking up time and time again, even when you don't want to, continue to put one foot in front of the other. That's the moments that make you a better person. That's the moments that you will remember. That's the moments that are, because in order to get to where you like, when you write down that goal, it's clear that is not where you are today. That's where you want to go. So you have to do things differently than what you've been doing to get to that end point, right? You have to go harder in a sense. You have to become a different person. Not a different person, but the essentially the
You have
process
to
when you look
honestly,
back.
what you have to become. Here's the thing with that. I feel like with you setting that goal, you have to become who you are.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
become who you truly are.
Yep.
And I think people think that they have to think like, oh, I got to be this different kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have to be different in terms of your actions,
Yeah.
but who you are is the person that set that goal. No,
Yep. Yep.
if
Yep.
you're that person, you just got to become that person.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for you
Yep.
right now, just waiting
Yep.
for you to become.
Yeah, no, spot on.
I don't mean
Spot
to yell
on.
either.
No, no, I like the passion. I love listen, I could talk to you about this all day, every day, man. So I love the passion. Like, absolutely, absolutely. I know you touched on this a little earlier with the Olympic example, but can you share a time when you were mentally in a slump and how you overcame it?
Oh yeah, I can name so many slumps. Let's see, which one should we talk about? Um, I'll talk about my most recent slump, which was 2024. I was going through it. 2023, I thought I made the team. I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling confident. I know I'm gonna make it. Got fourth. Didn't make it. I was like, dang, like I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. And it was just such a hard reset, such a hard reset. Because it felt like the end of the world. I mean, like every emotion does that's intense. It feels like the end of the world. It feels like nothing's going to go your way. Anything you try is going to get 10 times worse. Um, I think I was to a point where it started slipping dark, where it was like, I was questioning literally everything. Like when I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm like, am I really enjoying this, or am I just
Mhm.
not? I'm not really actually enjoying this. I'm just trying to do it to give me relief. But in reality, I'm not relief. I'm stressed. Like I'm stressed even thinking about this conversation right now. Like it was thoughts like that. I'm getting stressed just hanging out with people or even taking time for myself, getting the extra rest that I need. Felt super selfish for getting extra rest all the time. And it was such a negative place to be, you know? Um, Trying to think what else. I got hurt as well in 2024, and I was still mentally just in a terrible place. I think what I know about myself is like, regardless of how bad I feel, which is what got me out of the slump, is I'm gonna continue on
Mhm.
regardless of how bad I feel. Regardless if I don't feel like I'm mentally there or anything, I'm gonna continue. And honestly, it was just time, time, and continuation. Knowing you're able to continue through any adversity, it was a huge step because there was meets that I showed up to, which I've ran my fastest times. Like not my fastest time, but pretty fast. Like three out of the like six meets that I ran last year, I was so mentally drained from how I overthought everything
Mm.
that I didn't want to show up to the. I was like, I'm not going. I told my coach, I'm not going. I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm tired of embarrassing myself constantly. I'm tired of it. And I don't want to keep doing this. I'm crying. He was like, at least just go out there and you don't even have to warm up. Just run. Just run. Just be free and run. And I was like, I don't want to go, but I can do that at least. So there was a couple races I just showed up and just ran. And I ran extremely well. Extremely well every single time. Now I don't recommend that. Don't get me wrong. But do not recommend that at all. However, it was it was a combination of time and constantly showing up. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. Everybody has unique challenges to themselves that is difficult for each other. And I think that's why it's called adversity, because it's adverse for different people as a whole. And it was tough. It was just really tough. And I think that being able to show up through adversity will help you get just like I said, through it. You'll get through it essentially. If you just keep showing up, you just have to keep showing up, because luckily, like now, I mean, it took until after trials, like the situation that I told you about, the whole fact on people coming up, it was random people just randomly coming up to me talking about this event, me just looking back at my 2021 career and thinking of what I really wanted out of the year, because I never felt like I got what I wanted until I realized that I did. And once I realized that I got what I wanted, I was like, then why am I putting so much stress on everything? If I really get what I want at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, why am I putting stress on everything? And I couldn't answer that question. I was like, you know what? Like, I want to live my life like an anime. I have to get back to that. That's what I really want. That's what I enjoy. I don't know why I got to this point where I'm so hard on myself, where anything I do I feel bad for, or anything I do is not good enough, but I know how I want to live my life. And that just helped with realizing like the failures that happen along the way, like anything that happens in terms of I'll give you an example. Like during my off season, I would go out to the basketball court, shoot like 500 shots, because since I was young, I wanted to shoot well, you know, and I would miss 400 of them. But it was the process that I was practicing. I was practicing that whole process I said about, like, why would I worry when I know it's going to get better? And I practiced it with my off season, just shooting shots. I'm like, oh, it's okay if I miss this many. I'm just going to keep trying until I get a little bit better. And once I got to my whatchamacallit, that was a big indicator for me, honestly, because I got to my bachelor party for my wedding and I played my siblings. You know, you have the sibling rivalry.
Yep.
Rivalry game. And I was just that's the best feeling. I'm telling you, revenge on your siblings, best feeling. Let me tell you, I was just sinking. I was sinking shots that I didn't even think I could actually make, you know? And I think just like that was a clear indicator, night and day. Like, and it can be something simple like that. That's all it really takes. Like having that moment where I see my siblings take the game seriously, like they always do, but that you could see a little stress, you know? If you see the stress, like, oh, they're taking me seriously.
Yep.
Like that feeling really brought me out of my moment. Like it really helped me realize, like, hey, like I was putting so much stress on myself to be this certain way and think that I have to be this certain way and feel bad for getting extra rest and feel bad for hanging out with friends, or feel bad if the extra work I wasn't in the right mind space, or showing up to a race and not being able to fully warm up because I'm so mentally exhausted, feeling bad for literally everything that I did, you know? And I took that away. And once I took that away in terms of like time, realizing, like I said, realizing after the Olympics, I got what I wanted, practicing the thought of, you know, don't worry. At the end of the day, you want to get better. So you'll just keep doing it until you get better. Yeah. And then ultimately getting it, surprise, super early, like, you know, got it within a couple weeks of just keeping that mindset. Literally just like disgustingly, I hope my siblings watch this, disgustingly beating them, like with like one hand behind my back, just shooting that thing. Like it's just moments like those, it just carried me to where I am right now.
It reminds me of what you said in the beginning, that your mom was always just so focused on making sure that you were having fun.
Yeah, that was it. That was what I was missing.
Yeah. How do you, I have two more questions. I know we've been going for a while, so if you got to hop, let me know.
Oh, no, I'm good. I can talk.
Okay. How do you deal with both external pressure and internal pressure?
Ooh.
I'm making you think, man.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. External pressure, a work in progress. I'll say that. Yeah. Still trying to get better with that. I think with external pressure, I think with internal and external, no, we'll go external. External pressure, remembering what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a caring person. I care for a lot of people, and I'm always going to try and do everything I can for somebody else. However, it doesn't help me in the moments of racing. It does not. It does not do any service to me when someone says, like I want like putting the pressure on, oh, I have to run 140 because they said run 140 today. Because people just say outrageous times to run. Haven't been running all season. Like it'll be my first meet out. They'll be like, "You gonna drop a 142 today?" I wasn't planning on it, but now I'm stressed. Thank you for adding that later. But just realizing like, okay, hey, feel like, hey, I'm gonna do the best that I can. I'm gonna give you my best. And at the end of the day, like, not only do they have to be okay with it, but you have to be okay with it before they do. Mm-hmm. That makes sense, And if you're okay with not reaching the external demand, you actually run way better than the external demand in terms of emotionally and sometimes physically, And yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing. And communication is key. Like, and what I mean by communication is don't communicate when you feel nervous immediately. Try and say, okay, why am I feeling nervous? Get to the bottom of it, get clarity on that nervousness and what that external factor is bringing to you. And then once you know exactly what the external thing is bringing to you, rather than you just being emotional, being like, hey, I don't like when you say that, then you start getting clear on like, hey, look, you didn't do anything wrong or anything like that, but I'm feeling a lot of pressure. And right now, it would help me if you said this. I know that it means nothing and I should be telling myself this. I am, trust me. But what helps me on these days? If you're able to say something along these lines, in your own words, of course, this would actually help when I'm thinking about it. And I hope it works. If it doesn't work, I'll let you know. And we can switch it up. It's all, like I said, it's all process. Figuring that out and getting clear on exactly where it's coming from and what you need. Turn your external pressure into pressure against them to do the right thing. Or not even do the right thing. Turn it into something you can practice. I feel like that's something huge. Like, making it clear on this is what I need from you this day. And if it feels forced, be like, okay, why does it feel forced? And like I said, break down everything before you say it, before you talk to that external force. Break down, okay, why does this feel forced? Am I thinking about it this way? Because half of the time, you're just thinking about it a way. Other half of the time, they're probably saying it a certain way. That doesn't help. So I think with the external, it's mostly important to communicate. I'll say this, authentically communicate. Authentically communicate in a way that is you. Because then you'll be in a present moment. We talk about the present moment.
Yeah.
That present moment, even if they didn't say it in that moment, the fact that you're present with the way you feel makes you race, makes you compete, makes you do whatever more presently. And then internal, that's an ongoing battle. That's really, I think with both of these, you're going to have to keep developing, realizing that there's no perfect answer. However, you keep striving for perfect. I watched your videos.
There we go.
Sorry, a little shout out to your videos.
I appreciate it.
The strive for perfection, that's important. However, that's exactly it. Just striving for it, realizing that you can't obtain it, but you being a better person in the process of striving for it is the key, especially for internal. You seeing that, okay, this is an improvement. Okay, this wasn't that great. Let's see if we can improve over here. That's key.
Yeah. What advice would you give your high school self, if you could, on the mental side of sports?
Ooh, high school self is so rigid. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. High school self, the mental, right? Mm. Honestly, with my high school stuff, even though like I got seventh at state and all these different things happen, I would just tell myself you're doing a good job.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, without you, I wouldn't become me.
Mm-hmm.
So continue to do you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the premise. Hydrate as well. You're terrible at hydrating. You need to hydrate. Please, please, for the love of God, hydrate. But, no, for real though, for real. Um, yeah, no, I'm a firm believer in I wouldn't be me if that person didn't go through everything he did. If he wasn't able to get to where he was, if he wasn't able to make the mistakes he did, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And yeah, I want to be better. And yeah, there's a lot of places I don't want to be in terms of currently right now that could have been changed. However, I wouldn't be me then. It would be somebody else.
I'm the
And
same
I'd
exact
rather be
way.
me than anybody else, you know?
Yeah. 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 That's beautiful, man. Is there anything that you feel you wanted to touch on that you didn't have a chance to touch on?
Is this advice? This advice for just kids in general?
Well, just anything like, yeah, like this is there anything that like you would want to say that you felt like to during this discussion you didn't have a chance to say or it didn't come up?
Mm, let's see. I think of like two things. I think the number one thing that I think of is at the end of the day, I think the premise of everything that I am also trying to say that I didn't get to say was don't be so hard on yourself internally.
Say that one more
If you
time.
don't,
You kind of broke up a little bit.
don't, oh, sorry. I said, don't be so hard on yourself. You are in a process, you're doing your process. And the fact that you're trying, the fact that you tried, the fact that maybe you didn't show up this day, but you tried to, that's your process. And you doing that process is you being a part of the process. And if you know that, then you know you're making effort towards what you really want. So don't be hard on yourself because at the end of the day, you're doing everything you need to. And by doing everything you need to, you're trying. And I feel like that's a very underlying thing because I've been burnt out a lot of times with being hard on myself. Like, you're not enough. You didn't do enough. You didn't do this right. Like, external pressures telling me this too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to like say, I feel like everybody says you're enough,
Yeah.
but I think the premise of deeper within that is like, don't be hard on yourself because you're doing everything you need to. Everything's not black and white in terms of success or failure. Nothing's guaranteed. So there's no reason you should be hard on yourself for not reaching a guarantee that wasn't guaranteed from the beginning. you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. It's just an
we're
internal
not
expectation.
exactly. And that's where that aspect is what I'm talking about of not being hard on yourself. Like I said, I'll give you, if it makes anybody or even if it makes you feel better, I lost all my races till my senior year and still lost at state. Still crazy and still believed. I believed when I was 12, I was going to make the Olympics when I was 13. I ran 62 that year, just letting you know. Let's see what else. I talked about my shots literally 2 weeks ago. This is something recent. So you're probably like, oh, you're better now than all the stuff that happened, especially like at Irvine when I didn't PR for a whole year and then the next year PR'd. You're better now. Okay, I give you prime examples. I shot 500 shots, made 120 of them. 500 shots, 120. Like, if anybody saw that, they'll be like, you're trash. you know? I literally every day, it was around the 100 range. I was like, dang, can I get to 200? you know. Let's see what else that I've done that's difficult. Um, I started off couldn't draw well, still can't draw the best, but I'm a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. I sucked at video games. I sucked at literally everything I did until I kept trying. I decided to keep doing my process. The fact that you keep doing the process is where you get the big, not even big development. It's the fact on you get better eventually.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You'll be all right in the end. So there's no point of putting this pressure on yourself of, dang, you didn't do it, you suck, you need to do better, blah blah. Don't be so hard on yourself in that aspect, because let me tell you, you can miss 120 shots, but let me tell you, in that game where I crushed my siblings, which I'll say it again, 9-1, that was nasty. Oh my gosh.
Now talk your stuff. Talk your stuff.
Come on. Like, come on. It's those moments. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, just don't be hard on yourself, because at the end of the day, you can get up and do it again as long as you want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then two things. I also 3D printed a Power Ranger helmet. I wanted to show that. I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah, please show that. I saw that. I was on your Instagram, and you got to meet some of the Power Rangers, right?
Oh, I did. Yeah, so I 3D printed this one.
Wow.
Pretty cool. I made the visor and everything. It's the Titanium Ranger. I have a 3D printer now, so that's
wow.
Awesome. Yeah, I meet a lot of. My mom actually got to meet a lot of them, and they left a special message for me, so that was cool as well. And really hearing cool from them saying like they heard of, that's another piece of, I grew up on Power Rangers. I loved every single Power Ranger. Let me say, I watched every season. I can memorize every single theme song, and the fact that they said like they watched the Olympic moment and how much it meant to them, like. Like, how can I not be out of my funk?
Yeah.
When you hear from literally the Power Rangers.
Yeah. Your heroes as a kid.
You're a hero as well. You know, I'm literally living the dream that I always wanted. Yeah.
Jeez, man. Okay, so before we go, I do this thing called rapid fire questions. Okay. So I'm gonna put 30 seconds on the clock. I'm gonna hold the clock up, because if I don't, you won't be able to see. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. So I'm going to ask the first question. I'm going to start the timer after I ask the first question. Okay. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to let you know now that my answers will be completely random, because I don't think fast. So.
Okay. Well, now that makes me more excited.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. What is your go-to pre-race hype song?
Crap. Panda.
What's your favorite cheat meal?
Oh gosh, cheat meal. In-N-Out.
What's your favorite off-day hobby?
Gaming.
If you could relive one moment from your experience and career, what would it be?
Meeting Jasmine again.
What is the best advice you've been given?
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Hey, you made it, man. You made it. Yes, you made it. You made it, dog. Congrats. I think out of all of these, I've done like 17. I think I've only had like 4 people that have made the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's just kind of like those 500 shots, like, you know.
Yeah. You gotta practice sometime. You know, it's funny. I did watch a couple videos on the rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
But
okay, so you were prepared.
Yeah, you already know. I watched I watched yours, and then I watched this guy who does, like, I don't know if you've seen Awkward Puppet, but he does a whole bunch of funny stuff. But anyway, I've seen it before, so yeah, I was trying. I was like, okay, let's get it going.
Yeah. No, thank you, man. Yo, this was an amazing conversation. It was by far the longest podcast, but I say that because it flew by. The time absolutely flew by. Like, I could listen to you talk, the way that you think, the way that you continuously challenge yourself. It's inspiring, it's motivational, and I know that I'm better because of this podcast, and I know that the people that are listening are going to be better because of this episode. And so, man, thank you, truly. And
no, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, man, like, absolutely. Have fun in Mississippi, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Training park. Yep. So,
You know, it's funny, ironically, about Marco. We in 2021 we both got out the semis and we were talking about training together. It's just crazy how it's full circle now. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
that was nothing to do with the video, but I
No,
was
no,
gonna say.
that's what's crazy is I actually I read that article.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
No.
read it yesterday when I was like preparing for this and stuff. And I guess the guy was it's like I don't know how to say it. It was like Sidious magazine or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep, yep, yep. All right, I'm gonna close this out. Don't go anywhere. But I just want to say thank you again. And all right, everybody, we'll talk to you soon.
Peace.